Good morning. Welcome back to Rolling Hills Farm. Dave here. We had some rain overnight, so we can't get out in the field. So today we're going over to help a neighbor grade his driveway using a 100-year-old grader, originally a horse-drawn grader, but it's set up now for a tractor. So we're taking the Oliver and we're going to head over and give him a hand. So neighbor Greg has a quarter-mile long driveway, and after a winter of freeze-thaw, it gets broken up, so he likes to grade it every spring.
But this is probably originally a horse-drawn hitch. Maybe there was a front gear on it, modified to be used on behind a truck or a tractor. So here's the name, C.D. Edwards. So it was manufactured in Minnesota. It had to have been the 20s or 30s.
The gist of it is you want to fill in your potholes, but you also want to bring that aggregate back towards the center and get a crown on the road so that the water won't run off. So my main focus is this side, usually when we're on this side of the road, and I'm digging down to get this aggregate pushed back. This side I'm trying to adjust to spread that aggregate out in a nice even upward slope. So what these wheels do is they lift one side or the other of the blade, and they adjust the angle that the blade is running. The angle we really don't mess with too much. Once we get it set, the up and down part of it is where you're always adjusting with this. If I want more towards the middle, I'll put this down closer to the road, and then the aggregate will just run along there towards the middle. I don't like to have it all the way down because I want this stuff to fill in the middle where the wheels are, the hard packed area. The main thing is just kind of watch it, and I'm constantly moving this up and down a little bit depending on where I want that aggregate to fall.
C.D. Edwards Manufacturing started in 1878 and is still in business today in Albert Lea, Minnesota. In the early 1900s, they built horse-drawn and later tractor-drawn graders. It had as many as 10 different models at one point, and they were very popular in the Midwest. So old-timers tell me these graders were placed around townships, often operated by farmers on a contract basis to keep rural roads graded in summer and snowplowed in winter.
Well, this old grader was laying in the weeds at a property that my brother bought down in Onamia, Minnesota. He had a long driveway, probably the road ran through it maybe a mile and a half. And so at some point I think they were using this pulled by a tractor to help grade the road. But when we got to the property, it was just sitting in the weeds, covered up with even trees growing through it. So it hadn't been used in quite a long time. We pulled it out one day and ran it behind a tractor, and it worked absolutely beautiful. It's all mechanical, just some gears in here and heavy duty. And I just put a little bit of grease on some of this this morning. I greased the wheel bearings a little bit, and that's about it. Nothing else. And this thing has sat outside till last year. Last year was the first year I had it inside, but since it was born, I imagine it sat outside, and it's in wonderful shape.
We've had a hard time finding out any more information about this particular grader, and if anybody has any idea of what year it was manufactured, let me know. We're just curious. Well, there's not much information about the C.D. Edwards Manufacturing Company online that we've been able to find. There are some very interesting Facebook groups about graders, classic graders, with more information if it's something you're interested in.
They were back from grading the driveway, and it's time to feed cows. Up next, getting the barley seeded and getting our last couple of oat fields in place. And then we're going to get these cows out on the beginnings of pasture. You can see it's coming fast over here. And these calves are big enough that we're less concerned about wolves. But I'd like the next couple of calves to be born first, and then out we go. We'll see you then.